Hello. Hope you don't mind if I take the odd swig. I have a feeling my throat may dry up a little while I'm trying to do this. Anyway, I'd first like to thank everybody for being here. I know what a fantastic guy my dad is, and it's been so nice yesterday and today, hearing all of everybody's words, the kind gestures, and the fact that so many other people appreciate my father really means a lot to me and my family. I'd like to thank Colonel Pettipaw and Reverend Stahl for their kind words today too. Almost seems like they haven't left me much to say, but I'll give it a go anyway. On the website, people were leaving condolences and stuff, and my brother-in-law Nick was very eloquent. He was the first one in there. You should go read it. In fact, those words, I almost think, maybe you are good enough for my sister after all. So he started with the words, Ed was a great man. I don't really know, great man is a very subjective title. So I don't know that I ever really thought of him in terms of being a great man. I think what I really always thought of him was being a good man, or in fact the best man I've ever known. He wasn't great many things though. He was a great husband, great father, great friend. Sounds like I believe he was a great soldier. One thing I really thought he was a great example. So I thought I would talk today about things I learned from my dad. I think the first thing I learned was, well, not first, no particular order, but this is what I wrote down. I learned great love for my country. I mean, Dad was obviously a patriot. He had 30 all those years in the military. It's funny, I hated the military personally growing up. Because of all the moving around. I'm one of those, I hate change and this having to move every year or two, although I think in the long run it was good for me because I certainly learned the lesson of, which we used to hear at home too, Colonel Pettipaw's thing about Max Flex, that was at home too. But one thing, my dad was, so we say, fiercely proud of his country. There was an occasion where he took his kids out to a theater, I think it was in Kingston. We were watching a movie, and that was back in the days when they played the national anthem at the start of every movie. And a couple of rows up in front of us, there were a couple of soldiers in uniform, and they didn't stand up for the national anthem. So my dad waited, and I think he kind of stewed through the whole movie. And left us sitting there and went over and had a word with those fellows. I wish I'd been close enough to hear it. I suspect I would have heard some words that I hadn't heard him say very much before then. My dad, another thing I learned about my dad was taking care of others. He really was, my Uncle Bob, I think, once referred to him as, that's his brother-in-law, not his brother, once referred to him as the ultimate Christian. My dad really believed in taking care of others, putting others ahead of himself. Which I think was reflected in the way he dealt with his men in the military, and certainly with us. I know he really, even his in-laws, his mother-in-law, I know he helped a lot, and our great Aunt Blanche, who was pretty much the sixth member of our immediate family for the last 30 or 40 years since her husband died very young. And Dad used to take really good care of her, driving her around when she needed. I also remember a story my mom told me about when he was the base commander in Gagetown, where some young fella, private or corporal or something, came to the office and they wanted to talk to my dad about something, and apparently some snotty little young officer or whatever told him that Colonel Quinn was too busy to see him. And when my dad heard about that afterwards, this fellow got apparently quite thoroughly, well, kind of like those fellows in the movie theater, I think. Up one side, down the other, and I think he went out in front of the whole battalion and told everybody that his door was open, and if you need something, come and talk to him. And he was not having any of this. If his men needed something, he was going to be there for them. That's the kind of guy he was. My dad taught me the value of being friendly and having good cheer. We had our last big Quinn family reunion in 1998, where there were something like 30 Quinns or something in one place, probably more than that. My wife said afterwards, the problem with hanging around with that many Quinns is that they're all so relentlessly cheerful. And I thought that was perfect. When I hear that expression, I think of my dad. I really do. He always was that way. You know, he was always smiling, and he treated everybody kindly. He was always kind to my friends. You know, he thought a lot of them were pretty weird, which is probably true, but he still really enjoyed talking to them and getting to know them. But as far as I was going to say, as far as the relentless cheerfulness goes, you'll forgive us if we're a little off our game today. He, as I was saying, he really treated my friends well. I always found it interesting that my female friends and the sisters of friends, they always thought he was really hot. Great thing you really want to hear about your dad. You know. So I heard it all my life. And he taught me about being a gentleman and being a gentleman. He was a very gentle person. You know, I guess a teacher of mine once said that to be gentle, to be truly gentle, you have to be able to kill. And I guess as a soldier, he was trained to. But my dad was always gentle with anybody I saw. With us, certainly. I don't think he ever really raised a hand to us in anger. You know, we got spanked a little bit, but who didn't, right? The only person I think he ever really abused was himself. He had it seemed to be a rare week in his life go by, I think, until recently when he couldn't get up, but that he didn't have bandages on his fingers from something or other. Anytime he did anything around the house, cut his fingers. He even managed to once take a line drive and break his middle finger at third base. I couldn't believe anybody could manage to do that. He stuck his hand in front of the glove. So, and thanks, Dad, for passing that particular gene on. Raymond got it too. My mom's about to be horrified. Don't worry, I won't say the bad words. He taught me to laugh. One great memory I have of Dad is telling us jokes and stuff, sitting around the dinner table. As we got older, of course, it was nice that we got to hear some of the more not family-friendly, shall we say, sort of jokes. One in particular that had an interesting point in my life, of course, and this is where my mom's going to... there was a fellow who walked up to a taxi, and he opens the door and he asks the taxi driver, "Have you got room in there for a pizza and a case of beer?" And the taxi driver says, "Sure." And the guy goes, "Blah." So once when I joined the Naval Reserve when I was 17. My dad was, I think, both very proud of me and horrified that when I actually decided to join the military, it was the Navy. I went to I was at a stag party at the mess, and I got thoroughly hammered. 17 years old, like any good young soldier would do, or sailor. So I was at home after that. They drove me home, and I was lying in the bathroom speaking to the big white telephone, as Dad used to call it. And he pokes his head in, and he says, "Hey, Rob, got room in there for a pizza and a case of beer?" And this is the part where my mother is horrified and hoping I'm not going to say what I said to my dad. Let's just say I said 2 words to my dad that I'd never said before and never said since. And his response was to just laugh and walk away. I think he'd been through the same experience once or twice himself, so he knew what I was going through. He taught me about sportsmanship. I love sports. I loved playing hockey. Later on, he took Raymond out and showed us how to curl, and we curled for many years. And one thing, I think long before we took up curling, where you stop and you shake everybody's hand before and after you play, I kind of developed that philosophy anyway. In fact, I still do it when I'm playing board games. I will, when I lose a game, reach across and shake someone's hand. I think it's better to play games for the sake of playing the game, enjoying it, having fun. That winning for the sake of winning is, you know, it's not the important part. And that was something that Dad taught me. And of course, my dad taught me to love the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Brainwashed, I think, is the term I usually use. The number of times people have asked me if I'm from Saskatchewan, because all my coats are Saskatchewan Roughriders. I have a friend that I've known for something like 25 years, and she recently saw me without a Rough Rider shirt on, and she was surprised because she didn't think I owned anything else. I do. But anyway, I'm not sure that he necessarily did us any favors getting us hooked on the Rough Riders, but it's been great. And I guess the biggest thing that I think Dad taught me about was love, because Dad had a great capacity for it. He loved us. He loved all of his family. He loved my mom especially, of course. Michael alluded to the rough 10 years we've had with all the strokes and all the other stuff that he's gone through. The number of times we've run down here and, we don't think he's going to make it through the night, and he does. He rallies and comes back, and I firmly believe that the only reason he hung around as long as he did was because he loved my mom and he couldn't bear to leave her. But I guess he finally couldn't hang on. So he loved us kids. He was, as Reverend Stahl said, he always had time for us. When he was around. Being in the military is tough. Those 2 tours in Cyprus were really rough on all of us, having him away for that long. But he was always good. He would take time to play with us. He was there. He was with us. He wasn't the kind of dad who, I guess I've heard that some families. I have friends who have families that are broken families, they've suffered through divorces, or there's people who have fathers who abuse their wife or kids. I don't get it. I can't understand that kind of thing. My parents there was never any question about how much they loved each other, how they were together. They were the best couple I've ever known, I think. And them getting divorced or something like that could never happen. And it's really come down. It's a sort of feeling that I think has gone through all of us. We've all been in long marriages and stuff now, but also our relationship with each other. My brother and sister and I were really close. We're very close in age, but we were just really close growing up. And all that moving around did have that one effect. We were always friends with each other. So I'm very happy that Dad sort of instilled all of that in us. And the thing he said about the thing I said earlier about the relentlessly cheerful, yeah, that's pretty much all of us most of the time, right? It's just the way we are. And he loved his grandchildren, his friends, his brothers. I have good memories of some family reunions with him hanging around with his brothers. I think at their mother's funeral, I heard that somebody knocked on the door, and my Uncle Trevor answered the door. They were all sitting around wearing these fireman's helmets with beer and, spitting lights and just having a great old time, sending off my grandmother. So I guess kind of the thing I think about my dad is, was he a great man? Well, yeah, he sure was. He was a great dad, great husband. I think he was a great example for anybody. I was lucky to live my life with him and learn from him. I don't know if there's a heaven, but I'm sure if there is, that he's there. So anyway, thank you.